Well, if it's Tuesday and it's 4:30, that can only mean one thing. That means it's sit down, stand up with John Kenneth. That is me. It is a pleasure to be here. Longo, how are you, buddy?
Thrilled to be here as always. Thrilled.
We took a couple weeks off.
We did.
And we're back.
We're back and better than ever.
Better than ever. And we're kicking it off with a fantastic guest. I'm so excited to have this incredibly funny woman on. Not only is she funny, she's a comic, but she's an entrepreneur. Try and say that in Latin. That's French. It's a French word. Entrepreneur. And we're gonna dive deep in what she's doing now. But she is from my original hometown of the Chicago land area, from Waukegan, Illinois. She's the founder and CEO of a new online comedy club called Plausible, which I checked out, and it's so cool. You know what? Let's just bring her on. Please welcome Leanne Linksy. Hello, Leanne.
Hello.
Oh man, thanks for coming on to the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Now, we were talking about our backgrounds. My background is a very ugly, dark, I guess that's blue wall with my sit-down, stand-up logo behind it. You are sitting in front of a
blue tarp because entrepreneurship is messy.
It's messy, so you just cover it up with blue tarps.
Yeah,
I get it. Makes a lot of sense. So, all right. So we have so much to unpack here because you're an incredibly accomplished comic, as well as as an entrepreneur. I want to talk about Plausible because it is a very cool site. But before we do that, let's just dive deep into our home hood, Chicago, where you and I grew up in the same name. Now, you from Waukegan, I'm from the little town of Lincolnwood. When did you move out of our fair city and go elsewhere?
1990.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah, so I moved when I was 20. I went to graduated from high school. I grew up in Waukegan.
Right.
Graduated from high school there. I stayed and went to College of Lake County, CLC.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I transferred to University of Nevada, Las Vegas in 1990.
What brought you from Lake County to UNLV? Very different campuses.
Oh yeah. Well, I explored. So I'm first generation college student on my dad's side of the family.
Okay, very cool.
And
Congrats.
so I didn't really know I would ever go to college because nobody in my family went to college except a couple cousins on my mom's side. And I mean, I didn't know what a credit hour was. I was looking at it, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, we didn't know.
I just want you to know, I went to college and I still don't know what a credit hour is. It's all fair game.
It makes no sense. Honestly, come up with a better system, people.
Right.
So when I was looking to go to school, I ended up going to College Lake County. I ended up with a little scholarship, which was fantastic. And my family was surprised. I was surprised. And clearly, based on our conversation so far, like nobody had any expectations of me. So
the bar was low. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Couldn't get much worse.
No. It was like, what? She's smart. So when it came time to going on to school, because I did well at community college, my dad was like, wow, you're doing really well. Do you want to continue? I'm like, I guess so. And I didn't know anything about schools other than maybe some friends from high school who had gone on. So this was before the internet. And so information was not readily available. I actually had to mail in for brochures and catalogs and things like that. And I had to ask people like what schools existed. Right. So I researched in-state, Illinois schools, and they were very expensive, and honestly, we couldn't afford it. That was real disappointing to learn how expensive they were, even as a resident of the state.
Wow. So University of Illinois, that's too expensive, even if it's an in-state person.
Yeah. And so my oldest brother he was in the Air Force, and he happened to be stationed at Nellis. And he was like, hey, I think there's a school here. Let me drive there one day after work and pick up a catalog. So he actually went to the campus, picked up a catalog, and mailed it to me. Wow. And I looked at the prices, and I was like, Dad!
It was cheap.
It was kind of like community college prices, to be honest with you.
Wow. Because they figured you need all your money to gamble, so they don't want to take too much up front, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. Yes. I mean, people ask me, hey, Leanne, what'd you do in Vegas? I don't know. What do you mean, besides all the drinking, gambling, and prostituting myself? I don't know. I didn't drink that much. So yeah, I ended up going there, and it was great. I loved it. I mean, what better place to go when you're 20, 21 years old?
Wow, what a great place to hang.
Yeah, and I stayed in Vegas for 16 years.
So you never went. So wow. So you graduated and then you hung out in Vegas. Now, what did you do? Did you go right into is that where you got your comedy chops in Vegas, or what did you do in Vegas for 16 years?
I did, but not till later. So I ended up graduating, worked doing accounts payable, which was insane because out of all of my classes, as business major, I hated accounting and I thought I was terrible at it. And all of a sudden I'm doing it for a living. I'm like, what? How is this like debits, credits, backwards, inside out? And then after a year later, so I worked for a local home builder, and then I ended up Pulte Homes, a Fortune 500 national home builder, ended up coming to town, and I ended up working for that particular company for almost 13 years.
Oh my gosh! So you had a career going and everything.
Yeah, I didn't stay in accounting, but I did a lot of public speaking and things like that. And
so that's where you got comfortable, kind of being in front of people and.
Yeah, and people encouraged me to go take improv classes, and one of the guys who worked there was like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but the Second City has a training center here. I was like, what? The Second City is in Vegas?
It's Chicago, right.
Yeah. And then like that same week I looked in a local like City Life, I think was the magazine that was there. And it's kind of like the Village Voice in New York. Yeah. So I opened it up and flipped it open, and bam, there's like a half-page ad of Second City classes. I was like, this is okay. And then I called, and I ended up taking every class I think they actually offered there, and then some of them 2 and 3 times.
Oh my God.
For the next 5 years.
Wow.
And yes. And then on my vacation time, I would travel to New York, and I studied at UCB, and then eventually UCB opened their training center in LA before they opened a state Citizens Brigade. Yeah.
That's very prestigious.
Yes. And then so UCB opened a training center before they opened like a performance theater in LA. They had the training center.
Did you have to try out for that, or you just kind of apply and you go in?
You pay. Show me the money.
There's your tryout.
Yeah. Well, to get in the first couple levels, and then you have to be approved to get into the higher levels.
Got it.
And so I had gone through like how many levels? A couple, 2 levels in New York on my vacation. And then I would drive to LA every weekend from Vegas, and they advanced me to level 4. So I skipped a level, I think.
And this is improv, right? You're doing improv. Okay.
Yeah. And I was doing improv, and so I drive every weekend to LA for this class, and then eventually I got laid off from my job, so that was cool. And my friends from the theater were like, "Hey, you said if you didn't have that great job, you would move to New York." I'm like, "Oh, they were listening." And so one of my friends I had made in New York was like, and he wasn't from New York. He was finishing up school, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to sublet a place in New York for the summer. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Well, I'll think about it." And he was like, No, you only have 1 hour. And I was like, so I'm like, "Let me call you right back." And I went out, took a quick walk, came back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'm in."
Wow.
And a month later, I packed up 2 suitcases and moved to New York.
And you just drove to New York City from Vegas?
Oh, no, I flew.
Oh, you flew that time. Okay.
I flew. I flew to New York. I was driving to LA. Yeah.
So, all right, so you had some experience in New York taking those classes. Was your goal at that point, now that you were let go from your job, your career is basically over, you're like, okay, I'm leaving Vegas, I'm heading to New York City. Was your goal at that point, I'm going to be a what? An improver, a comic, or I'm going to go find a gig? What were you thinking?
I'm going to call Lauren Michaels and tell him I'm here. Problem solved.
And he picked up the phone.
Yeah, no. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not how it works." No, I was improvising, and in fact, even when I lived in Vegas and those 5 years I was taking classes, I was performing in Vegas. We had regular shows at like coffee shops and downtown on Fremont. And
did you ever get in the casinos and do anything? Or?
Yes. I mean, I have at some point. I don't remember the order now, but yeah, we did. We did basketball game halftimes. I don't recommend doing improv in a gymnasium like ever.
For UNLV?
No, I don't remember what it was, but it was.
Could have been a high.
Nobody was listening. Yeah, whatever it was, nobody was listening.
The second graders were like breastfeeding. You're in there. All right, let's go.
Yeah, like we booked gigs wherever we could. Like I've done improv in a parking lot for one of the Lions Club or something. They paid us, and only two of us in the ensemble actually showed up. And we remained friends ever since. We're like they left and they gave us a microphone, which you don't use a microphone for improv. No. And people were yelling, "We can't hear you!" And it rained. It rained.
And it rained. And you're in a Lions Club parking lot. But you know what? But that's called paying your dues. That's the stories you remember. And you did it. You went through it, and you persevered, and you did the show. You didn't go screw it. I mean, you probably put in 150%, and it was probably successful in your, regardless of.
It was great. And to your more direct answer to your question, I was pursuing as an improviser, and I wanted to be an actor, and and so
I went to New York City to try and break into acting too. You wanted okay.
I was like, I'm gonna own this city. No.
All right, so it's easy now. It's totally ownable. So all right, so you come out to New York City and you got you have your mindset on improving and acting. So now you're in New York City, and was this like the mid to late 90s now?
Oh, no. No, this is 2006.
Oh, 2006. Oh, that's right, because you were in... Okay, so now you're in 2006. It's 19 years ago. All right, so you land in New York. You're at this guy's sublet apartment. It's probably a piece of crap, I'm guessing.
Oh, my God. So me and the guy, right before I get there, because my friend was showing up a few weeks after me. Right. And so I arrived before he did, and we were going to sublet this place. And turns out the guys we were going to sublet from, these two guys, decided not to go on their trip. And instead, we subletted their living room floor. So now I'm living in an apartment
with three other dudes.
With three other dudes two that I've never met before until I show up and ring their bell or knock on their door. However, and then the third guy is a guy I knew from improv, and I was sleeping on the floor. My friend slept on the couch, and they each had their bedrooms, everything, but. It was terrible. It was great, and it was terrible. This apartment caught on fire, and the landlord refused to fix anything because apparently
how did it catch on fire?
There was an electrical fire in the ceiling. We were all sitting there. Remember the show 24? We were binge watching 24, and then it's do you smell something? And it's are you cooking something? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, well, maybe I left something on the stove. And he goes in the kitchen. The other guy's like, let me see if I left, what's burning. And then he's like, oh, God, my bedroom ceiling light is on fire.
God. Holy smokes.
Yeah. And so the fire department showed up, and they had to carve out a big hole in the ceiling. And and then we lived without electricity for quite some time because
you are paying some serious dues.
Yeah.
You are living a New York City apartment life there at that point. I mean, you're in the pit. All right, so while this is all going on, you're on the floor in the living room. You're living with three dudes. The ceiling's on fire. Are you improving and acting? What's going on in your career?
Yeah, I signed up for a bunch of classes at Upright Citizens Brigade and Magnet Theater, and I made friends, and we put together some improv troupes and got coaches and rehearsal space, and just started doing all of the things I could. Was at the theater, catching shows every night, doing all of the things. So, yeah, that's and then figuring out where do I go to audition, doing all the networking and all the things that you do and don't know. Riding the subway, a lot of places I didn't intend to go because I didn't know what I was doing.
That's so cool. Good for you. And then now on your website, which is what's your website? LeanneLinksy.com?
Yeah, I have LeanneLinksy.com, which I've had ever since I was doing.
And you have some commercials on there so you did get into acting because I saw your commercials for Optimum Cable, and General Electric, and you had some Jewish hospital or something, some cause and all that. So you were doing commercials.
Yeah, I booked commercials. It was crazy. My friend TJ Mannix, he's amazing actor in New York. TJ Mannix.
Oh, Mannix. Okay.
His name is TJ, and he was teaching how to audition classes at the Magnet, and I was like, oh, I got to take this class because at the end of the 4-week course, whatever, whatever weeks it was. Then he'd invite casting directors in and agents and you would do an audition in front of them, and then they give you feedback. And that's where I met the first agent I worked with. And like a month or so later, she reached out to me and booked and sent me on an audition, and I booked it. And I was like, "What? It's this easy?" And then I didn't book for a really long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're in New York City. You're doing commercials. You're improvising. So now let's get into the stand-up. When did you decide, or at what point did you decide that you wanted to get into stand-up comedy?
Well, it was funny because I had like resisted, because I'm like, no, I'm an improviser and I don't want to be a stand-up. And so whenever I meet people and they're like, oh, you do comedy, you're a stand-up, I'm like, no, I'm an improviser. And people, so they don't understand.
It's just shut people up, which happens. It's that's why people get married.
And after a while, I'm like, oh no, and because then they'd be like, tell me a joke, and I'm like, that's not how improv works.
I could pantomime.
Right? I could do great object work. So,
give me an author.
Right. Give me a suggestion. Can I get a suggestion, please? So I started running an open mic, and I created this open mic called Casual Sketch with a friend of mine. And we decided to start this mic for sketch writers so that people who are writing sketch shows could put them up on their feet and test them out in front of an audience before they build their whole show around stuff that doesn't work. Right. And because I was doing a lot of sketch writing and sketch classes, and so we started it, and it started out it's just going to be, so the Magnet Theater gave us a spot like once a month, and I was like, cool. And then people would come and they started, I wrote this, I'm going to put it up on stage, see how it goes, and then go back and rewrite. That's what we use mics for. Yeah. And then after a couple months, I realized, wow, people aren't writing that much. Also, it was hard for people to cast people in a sketch for an open mic for sketches because other people, so everybody was booking gigs and doing the thing. Right. And so people started showing up and saying, hey, I wrote a monologue. I wrote a character monologue. I want to do some characters. I want to do some impersonations. So I was like, yeah, do it. And the person I started this with, he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, well, I'm going to continue it. And he's like, fine. And so I did. And so I started letting people come and experiment and do these other things. And then one day, this comic, his name is Bob Bell, he walks in the lobby at Magnet Theater. He's like, hey, I heard there's an open mic here. And I was like, oh no, stand-ups are coming. And I was like, all right, sure.
Oh,
and
that's when the world's coming to an end.
Right. But I love Bob Bell. He's hilarious. Yeah. If anybody in New York, I don't know where he went or what he's doing today. I haven't talked to him probably since I left, but he's hilarious. And so then stand-ups started coming. So it became a mixture of improvisers, bringing written material, character monologues, stand-ups, and it was like always a surprise. We never knew who was going to do what or what was going to happen. And you gave everyone
like 5 minutes to do whatever they need. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the stage, here's the mic. Do whatever you want to do, basically.
Yeah. So I hosted that, and then it was so fun, and then it wasn't consistent enough, And Magnet's like, well, we need this spot for something else. Can we move you? And I'm like, well, I think it's probably, I need consistency. So I ended up going and finding this dingy basement at the Identity Bar in the East Village. Oh, and I went and talked to the bartender, and I was like, do you have like a basement, a back room, something? He's like, well, there's a basement, but you got to move all the stuff around, because they store everything down there. Yeah. Oh, man. And it was like this really rapey basement. And like, it was just, it was scary. With a drain on the floor, and and they just happened to have like a mic and an amp there, and I was like, perfect. And then Tino Romero, if you know Tino out of New York, he does a lot of stuff that goes viral with his Instagram now. He wrote some pun books and everything, and then he started running a daytime mic there that would go on like for 3 hours and everything. Right. And I mean, just to give you a better idea of this basement, like he brought in the hand sanitizer, and it was way before COVID. Like it was.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was great, and people would show up. We had regulars, so it became this weekly mic, And then one day
and the word started getting out that you're hosting them, and people, comics that they're looking for a stage, and
of course.
The beauty about stand up, you don't need a lot of room.
So I ran this mic for 7.5 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and like Identity Bar closed, and one of the guys messaged me and he's like, "Hey, did you know the Identity Bar has a lock on the door?" I was like, "Oh God, the mic's in like 3 days." So I had to go find a new bar. So we started doing it at the MC White Bar, I think it was. Okay. And then at that time I started producing a weekly show also that I put on right after the open mic, or before the open mic, after one, and then did that, and then the MC White Bar. I showed up one day and there's a lock on that door. Apparently my mic just put businesses under or something. Yeah. But then I went down and I found another bar, and it just went on for like 7.5 years.
So when you would find another bar, did you tell them, "Hey, thank you for letting me use your space. There's a really good chance you're probably going to go out of business."
Yeah. And all three bars that I had the mic at went out of business.
They went out of business. Not because of you, because they don't even know you're there. You're in the basement. You're in the basement with the hand sanitizer. Yeah. All right, so you know what I mean? What's phenomenal about you? I mean, what a great story. I mean, you're a fighter, right? You're a perseverer. You're a fighter. I mean, from your childhood to just from college. I mean, that's been kind of like this has been in your DNA. Like you didn't care, and you never gave up. And you had a passion, and you had a passion to go to college, and you did. You had a passion to get into. Improv and then a stand-up, and you just and instead of just following, you created. I mean, that's a hell of a story.
Thanks. Yeah. It's funny. I think of it, and I'm like, most of the time, I'm like, what am I doing? I'll be honest. It's like, I don't know what else I would be doing. So the door opens. I'm like, I'm going to walk through it. And everybody else is, don't you hear the music?
That's so funny. So while you're doing this, now, were you also, or now you're in New York City. Now, New York City, obviously, where I'm out of, New York City is a hub for comedy. Now, are you also starting to hit some of the clubs and starting to do your own stand-up material and getting out and about?
Well, so I started doing this mic, right? And for a lot of the years that I was running that mic and I was hosting an open mic for stand-up, but I still wasn't doing stand-up. I was still like, I'm not doing that. But I loved hosting. I loved doing bits. And then I had written my one-woman show. And so I wrote a one-woman show, and I premiered it at the Pit, the People's Improv Theater. Oh. And they gave me a half-hour time slot, and you share like an hour with someone, so someone else did the other half hour, and then I put it up, and then they gave me a run, and in that time I had a director and everything, and I found out like what's working, what's not, and so after every show I'd go back and rewrite and tweak, and I knew I wanted to submit to some fringe festivals, so I needed to come up with 55 minutes, and my show was roughly 27 minutes. So I wrote another half hour to my show so I could submit to, I submitted to Cap Fringe in DC, and I got accepted there. So I took my show to DC, and then I got into Fringe Wilmington in Delaware and did it there. And then I brought it back to United Solo Festival in New York. So I basically ran the show for, a year at all these different places.
What was the topic? What was your show about? Would you do an improv, or were you just literally telling?
No, it was all written. It was a written show. I had to memorize everything for an hour. Wow. I played all the parts. So each scene, it was like vignettes. I would play different characters in my life, ex-husbands,
parents. It's a life story kind of show.
Yeah.
Very personal.
And it was called. It was about my life in Vegas, because people are always curious, like, oh, you lived in Vegas?
Right.
And so it was called Lady Luck is a Whore. What happened in Vegas stays in the show. So my mom is like, that's the title? And she's like, that's not what it's about. And I'm like, it gets people's attention. It wasn't the smartest title choice, I guess, looking back.
But talking about getting publicity on that. So you're doing this, you did this for a year, right? You're doing this, you're going between, you're going to these festivals, doing the show. Now, what is your goal at this? And you're still doing commercials? I mean, how are you supporting yourself basically? Because you're in New York City, right? I mean, where are you?
People think, oh, you made all this money, and I was like, it costs so much money to produce your own shows in festivals. You have to pay to be a part of them and to promote and to use space. And I had to hire tech. I
mean, with your commercials paying you enough money to subsidize this lifestyle?
I hired a publicist. I hired a stage manager, a director, like people, because I needed help. There was a lot that went into the show. And so it costs a lot of money. So I had day jobs. I had various day jobs. Yeah.
So you had some money coming in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you were a busy lady.
I mean, I would leave my apartment in the morning. And I wouldn't get home till late at night. Yeah.
And then get up and go do it again.
And then there'd be like one day in the week where I'd have to sleep 15 hours or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you live in New York, you know. Like, you walk out your door and your senses are immediately overstimulated.
It's overload. It's overload. Yeah. So you are basically so this is a great segue to get into what you're doing now, because you basically were doing the due diligence on entrepreneurialism for years. I mean, what you did, I mean, even like getting to college was kind of entrepreneurial. And then, you create these shows, you create these open mics, you create these improv things and all that. And now you're doing your one woman show. And then you decide you go to college. I'm just kind of going through your bio. Is this at the point where you're like, I'm going to go back to school and learn how to become, I mean, because I don't think you need to learn anything because you're doing it, but you decide I'm going back to school to learn how to be a true entrepreneur and maybe learn more about it. Is that where this happened?
Yeah, which seems counterintuitive because people are like, do you really need to go to school to just start something, right?
Teaching.
And so the reason I had considered it at all was because I think when I was in New York and walking around like Washington Square Park and different places, I'd see all these college students and I'm like, wow, it's such a different experience than what I had in Nevada, clearly. But I always thought, I don't know. People always go, what's your 5-year plan or where are you going? And it's like every time I make any sort of plan and I look back and I'm like, 5 years ago, I didn't even know, like in this case, 5 years ago, I didn't even know I'd be in Seattle, like what? Like I'd never even been here before. Why would that be on my 5-year plan? So
plus when everyone's locking the bars on you, it's hard to come up with a 5-week plan.
Right. Yes, exactly. It's like, I don't know what's happening minute to minute. Are you kidding? But I had always thought, I think when I get by the time I turn 50, I think it would be really cool to consider going back to school. Wow. Because when I looked at people at that age, I was like, wow, they're kind of at this, like, now I'm going to begin to slow down and maybe, sit back a little bit. And I'm like, what if I didn't do that? What if I went back to school and was like, what can I learn that I don't know? And because things change, school changed. Obviously, school has changed. Go back at 50. And I'm like, I said to my now husband, I'm like, he was a teacher. He was a professor at another university before. And I was like, do kids still use notebooks? And he was like, yeah, no.
Is my slide rule still legit?
Right? Is a trapper keeper still a thing? And he was like, no, you need a laptop. So, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to throw my name in the hat. I'm going to apply to a graduate program. And I was like, but what do I want to learn? What do I want to do? And I had already thought of the idea of Plausible. And I was like, what could help me move this ahead, right? Because I've had this idea, but I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer.
Right.
I'm not,
Right.
And I don't want to be, but I know I can make this happen. So what would help me? So I started researching. Turns out University of California at Irvine had a brand new graduate program for entrepreneurship called Masters for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Okay. And I was like, wow, that's way cooler than going and getting an MBA, because an MBA says I want to go work for another company again, and I really don't. So
when you're starting entrepreneurship, that means you're coming out and most likely to be an entrepreneur in some capacity.
I would hope so, or at least work for a company. And if that didn't work out, then work for a company that's, forward thinking and really into that kind of thing. I don't know. I wasn't really sure, but nothing else sounded good. And I'm like, why not this?
So you're in New York, and now you applied all the way. Now you're looking back west.
Well, no, I was in New York for almost 9 years, and then I ended up moving to California.
Oh, so you're in California now.
So now I'm in California. I moved there December 2014.
Okay.
And I was like, people are like, oh, Leanne, did you move to LA for your comedy? And I'm like, well, I guess you could say that. I moved here for a man, and that turned out to be a joke. So
right. Talk about comedy.
That was what also so I was like, so here I'm in California, and my life blows up, and everything's upside down. And I was like, I gave up my New York apartment, like, for this, like California. 7 weeks in, he dumps me, and I was like, go back. I sold all my furniture. I sold everything, So that was dumb. And it was like the dumbest thing I've ever done. So I was like, how do I make this a good thing? There's got to be a reason that I'm here. Like, this can't be it. They can't be just tell me I'm an idiot. So what is it? And I stuck it out, and I stayed, and I started producing shows in California. And I ended up
in school. You're doing this?
No, I wasn't in school yet.
You weren't in school yet.
I wasn't in school yet, and this was 5 years before I went back to school. So I started producing weekly shows again. Then I was like driving into LA because I ended up living in Long Beach, and I was like in traffic all the time. I'm like, this is insane. What am I doing? Like, why am I spending more time in traffic than on any stage? Right. I'm like driving 2 hours to like sign up for 5 minutes and then not get it.
Right.
I was like, this is dumb. So I really missed all of my regular comics, all these friends I had made over so many years in New York. It was so different. Right. And in New York, I would get stage time. I'd get booked in shows. And now I'm like starting all over.
And a little easier to get around too. You just hop on a subway and you're there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I was regularly performing and doing things and auditioning.
Now you're in a car.
And now I'm in a car, which was horrible.
Is this where you came up, and I want to dive into plausible. Is this where you started coming up with this idea about plausible? So let's talk. We've mentioned it several times. Tell our billions of people listening what plausible is, and it's spelled Plauzzable, plausible.com. What is plausible?
Yeah, Plausible is a live online comedy platform. So when you think about going to comedy platform, it's not like YouTube where things are pre-recorded and you see video on demand and everything. It's live. So like you show up as either a comedian or fan. So if you think of Etsy, like I'm going to buy something that somebody made, right? Well, fans can log in to see comedy being made in real time. And so a comedian can create their account. They get a profile, the scheduling tools, the virtual stage, the ticketing services, all on one platform. You don't have to cobble anything together. Wow. You can monetize it without worrying about algorithms, ads, or gatekeepers. You set your price.
Right.
You earn your ticket revenue.
Wow. So you're doing, so I'm in my living room, or I could be anywhere.
Yeah.
And I obviously need a mic and somehow a way to communicate. So people then log on to my show. I'm doing air quotes.
Yep.
But it's not really air quotes. I have a show at 7:30 on Saturday. People, sign up, spend $15, whatever. I guess no 2-drink minimum. Unless
no commute, no 2-drink minimum.
And then so then I'm looking at my computer. I see my screen. Do I see people looking at me when I'm on Plausible? So you see the audience, you see the people.
You see them and you hear them.
And you hear them too.
You hear them.
So you can hear their laughter.
Yes, and it doesn't cut you out and cut off your punchline or anything like that.
Got it.
And
so it's like a cloth. They blend.
Yeah, you can see. So you're performing online for a live audience that is responding to you in real time. So what I found when I moved. So during that time, when I moved from New York to LA, I was like, wow, I miss all my comics. I want to do an open mic. Maybe I do something online. Now, mind you, now this is 2015. Right? BC, before COVID. I'm like, what if I do some things online? And I was like, maybe I'll do something on Skype. And people are like, Skype. But I was using Zoom for work. And I'm like, maybe I'll do that. Well, life got lifey, and it was breakup thing, and I started producing shows in person and doing that. But this idea was like, I think I can do something online. Right. So circle back August of 2019. Right before COVID. Right. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And I had a WordPress site for another business I was doing, and I had a way, like, people paid $5 for a spot on my mic, and I connected existing technology like Zoom and a calendar thing so that people could schedule. And I had it all set up, cobbled a bunch of things together, and people signed up every week, and they found me. They would do searches like for this, especially new people. I had some old veterans, and then COVID happened, and suddenly everybody's like, I'm doing that, right? Right. But then that's great. But then the technologies that we were using weren't designed for comedy. And not everybody can cobble all of this together, and they weren't really ideal. And it's very fragmented, and everybody's separate in their own silos. Right. And unless you know the comedian you're looking for, you're not going to find their Zoom show. Right. So I was like, how do I solve this problem? Because, as you know, doing comedy, we don't always get paid. And often it's exposure or a barter for barking and bringing in people or a beer, whatever. Right. And I'm like, why can't we flip the script on this, right? So, and if you go online, now you got to do algorithms and get X number of followers and this many people viewing and this many viewing hours. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I just want to do comedy. Right. So if we just want to do comedy, do comedy. You create your free account on Plausible. All the tools for you are already there. Wow. You set your own schedule. You do your own thing. Plug and play. You don't have to ask permission. Wow. You tell people and you promote it, and you get the majority of your ticket sales. Right. So nothing out of pocket.
How many comics are on Plausible right now? How many are you?
Hundreds.
All
and
the time.
More, but way more fans. And so, but the thing is a lot of comics run mics on there and classes on there. Fans want to go to shows. So if comedians want to do shows and put on a good production, charge for your shows, get on there and do it.
What a great idea. So when did Plausible launch?
So we actually launched, went live on the internet with this particular platform in December of 2021.
So COVID.
Wait, no, December of 2022.
Okay, COVID's still around.
22. Yeah. And so I just invited people word of mouth, and people were starting to log in, and I have people logging in every day who are some of my first comedians to log on.
What a success.
And they're doing stuff, and it's great. It's a wonderful community. Like, they all support people. You get to know people from all over the world.
I'm sure, because you could be anywhere in the world and do this.
Yeah. And you get all the people. It's, if you look at open mics for comedy, 40% of all the open mics in the U.S. are either in California or New York.
Wow.
That's nearly half, right? So
good luck finding open mic.
Good luck finding an open mic. And not everybody has the luxury I had of packing up 2 suitcases and, moving across the country. Right?
That's a good thing.
Yes, I would. Yes.
You don't want that luxury.
I mean, think about it. Like, if something like this had been available, I could have tested out. I could have networked. I could have, made these connections. But it's also great. People who do tour or travel. Like, I see people, regulars, like they're connecting with one another, and now they can travel, and they're doing shows together. People who live in Chicago is traveling to California, and people who live. It's really great.
What a great idea. So for people to find this, they go to, is it plausible.com? PLAUZZABLE.com. And that's if you want to go to sign up to watch someone's show, to take classes, or if you're a comic or whatever, I guess, and you want to create your account, then you create your account.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's super easy, and we're in the midst of, I'm super excited. We're in the midst of a major update. So we just updated our live video service, if you will, that portion of it for live events. It added some new features and everything we're happy about. So we're constantly paying attention to like,
I love it.
How can we make the user experience better? What can we do to help comedians move farther ahead? And
I love it.
And be able to do what they need to do. And so in November, we'll be rolling out some more really cool stuff. And I just met with my team this morning, and
you have a team.
Yes.
Team. You are a team
Again, I am not a developer. I think up the stuff.
I don't have a team.
They're amazing.
No team in my life. No.
I tell you, having a team is pretty great, and they're awesome, and they're thoughtful, and they're talented and good.
I love it. Good for you. Leanne, I learned so much. And to find you, they can go to Plausible. Now, is there any, if they go to LeanneLinksy.com, if someone wants to find you and your craft, are you pushing your craft in any capacity, or are you pretty much on pure entrepreneur now? It's all into Plausible.
I'm all in on Plausible.
All in on Plausible.
I'm lucky in the sense that Plausible is like, I still host an open mic. I host casual comedy every Monday on Plausible now.
You do it on Plausible, right?
I do it on Plausible now.
Sense.
And I am not pushing myself. Like, I'm pushing myself. I'm not promoting myself as a comic.
Right.
I am promoting myself as an entrepreneur so I can promote other comics.
I love it.
That's what I want to see. I want someone to go big. I want someone to. I want them to be successful. You want to help someone break. You want to try and break someone. Let me help you. Let me help you be amazing and successful and build a fan base and make money doing what you love. Let's
that's
go.
not possible in comedy. You might want to consider something else.
I know.
You're going down a rabbit hole into hell. Okay.
Right? I'm just gonna be like, well, this isn't as depressing and awful. Man. Yeah. So
I love it. Good for you. Well, don't be surprised if all of a sudden you see me on your screen on a Monday night. I'm coming to check. Longo, you should check her out. Longo's got no money though, so.
Hey, my mic is free, man. My mic has always been free.
All
yeah.
Right. Oh,
yeah. There's a lot of free events on there. Comedians
Okay.
can pick, like, if they want to charge or if they want to do free stuff.
Maybe
There's a ton of free stuff.
I love it. Wow, what a pleasure having you. Before I let you go, normally we do a half-hour show, but I was having so much fun with you. We just extended. The FCC is going to allow us to go.
That means I haven't done my job and said something.
No, you did a great job. All right, the final part of the show, I do this with all the comics. All my guests that come on, I have a little segment called Repeat Offenders. Okay, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions. First thing that comes to your mind, boom. This is an improv, right? All right. First question for Leanne Linksy in Seattle now. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you can invite anyone over to your house for dinner, dead or alive, who's coming to your house?
My parents.
Your parents?
Yeah, they have never been here. They haven't seen us here in Seattle.
So they're alive, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Right. If you're going to say they've never seen it, well, then okay, we won't go there.
They're still alive, but I would love to have them.
Are they still in the Chicago area?
They are. Yeah, they're in Illinois. They're not in the Chicago area. They're a little farther out now.
All right, and they haven't visited yet in Seattle.
No. They're in their mid to late 80s. So
all right,
they're not.
You're probably going to see them more than they're coming to see.
Yes,
okay,
I'm going to see them soon. So, but I would love to have them here and see. It's gorgeous. See, for anybody who hasn't been to the state of Washington, it's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, Leanne. Question number 2: if you could tour with any comic, dead or alive. Now, a comic could be an improv. It doesn't have to be a stand-up. Anyone who you'd like to tour with, funny, whatever. Dead or alive, who would you pick?
Oh my God. You stumped me on this one.
I stumped you? All
There's
right.
any?
That's okay. Any.
I don't know. I would, you know what I think would be really fun? I would like to be surprised. I would like to go on a tour and then be surprised as to, this month I'm touring with this person or that month touring. I don't know. It's really hard for me to pick one comedian.
Need to. We'll go to the other. We'll go to the miscellany. That's totally fine. Okay, question number 3. If you were a ghost, you're a ghost now, who are you spending the most time haunting?
Oh, haunting. I thought I was like, well, clearly Casper.
And it could be the guy that dumped you.
Oh God, no! I wouldn't
No, you
give.
don't wanna
He takes up
time.
no space in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Who would I haunt? Maybe former
friendly.
bosses. Former
There you go.
bosses.
I mean, it could be a friendly haunt too. It doesn't have to be an eerie haunt. I mean, you can, all right, former bosses, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Like maybe from those
My husband.
bars
Or my
that close up shop on you.
Oh yeah, I would go back and haunt the rapey basement.
The rapey basement. There's a one-man show, Haunting the Rapey Basement.
Rapey Basement.
By Leanne Linksy. All right.
Oh, we had magicians there sometimes, by the way.
Were they good?
Fascinating. Sometimes they were really great, but most of the time we're all like, huh.
Did you make yourself disappear by chance?
Mentalist, and it was
Mentalist.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't know how
All
they
right,
found us, but they
Two
did.
more questions. If a genie gave you one wish, what are you wishing for?
I wish y'all would sign up on Plausible and make
There you
some
go.
shows.
There you go. The genie is going to make it happen. All right, last question. This is a good one, okay? And given your life and what you've gone through, which is incredible, if you had to wear a sign around your neck for the rest of your life, what does it say?
Don't follow me.
Don't follow me, except on Plausible.
except on Plausible. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't follow me. That's great. And not even to the rapey basement.
Yeah.
I love it.
Don't do what I do. Just
Don't do what I
say.
do. That's actually a good sign. Don't do what I do. Wow, what a pleasure having you on the show. I gotta do a shout out to our mutual friend GD Fenderson.
Yeah.
Who introduced me to you. Thank you, GD. I had him on the show. What an amazing, one of the coolest mofos I've ever seen.
Isn't he cool?
So
Thank you,
freaking cool.
GD.
Thank you,
GD is really cool. And I tell you what, he works very hard at
He works hard. He does.
He
and
does.
He's funny. And I was on his show and two of his shows, and I had a great time. And I look forward to sharing that. And one day I look forward to sharing a stage with you somewhere, maybe online in some capacity.
Yeah.
Why not?
I would have to leave my house to do it in person.
You don't want to do that. Yeah.
I know.
We'll
That's
find a
rough
little
these
rapey
days.
basement in Seattle. That we'll
Yes,
all
let's find
gather.
one of those.
Yeah,
I know
then
that's
we'll
like
shut
the
it
new.
down.
That's the new catchphrase for people. I'm gonna do a mic at a rapey basement.
In a rapey basement. I love it. Leanne Linksy from Illinois, from New York City, from Las Vegas, now Seattle. Thank you so much for coming on Sit Down Stand Up. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Longo, great show.
Great show indeed, John.
And we are
out of here.